Hi there, Ramon from Memories, and today we have.
Arlieta Hall.
Hi there, Arlieta, and how long have you been a caregiver?
I've been a caregiver for the 2020 since 2018 full time.
Wow, so 2 whole years, and what's that experience been like for you?
Um, it has been a quite a fun journey. It has its ups and downs. I caregive for my father, who is a person with Alzheimer's. So I went through a program at the end of 2017 to become a certified dementia communication specialist. And that's where we utilize improv to communicate with people that have dementia or Alzheimer's. So we like yes and agree with them. So after I kind of learned that, and I already had like the natural ability to just kind of laugh with my father, it made it, I don't want to say easy, but it just lightened up the load and it makes it so much more fun than it is frustrating.
That's awesome. And would you mind telling us a bit more about this communication specialist and how that training has played a role in your caregiving experience?
hmm So I took the actual training through Dementia Raw. That was the program that it's called the Silver Dawn Institute, and I was started by Tammy Newton. So it was in person back then. It was a 2-day training where we go over improvisation, empathy, and basically kind of understanding the core of caregiving for someone. And that, hate to use this phrase, but that phrase that we probably all heard, putting yourself in someone else's shoes. So really trying to understand that this is a dis-ease for them. My father hates being confused, and he knows he's confused. So he's not looking for help. He's not looking for you to criticize him. So it's kind of helped me to be more of understanding to him. And now I kind of look at him as my scene partner. So I just kind of let him just let me know where we're going. Like, oh, he got an attitude, we got attitudes. Oh, we cleaning up, we cleaning up.
That's awesome. And I think it's so admirable that you've been able to have this kind of outlook and positive outlook on this experience so far and be able to laugh and, have fun in these moments. But, when things get hard or when things get challenging, what are things you tell yourself to kind of recenter you and refocus you and realign you with your training?
I always try to take a couple minutes to myself. Like if I get like extremely worked up, I walk away, take a couple deep breaths. That's where I always started. And then I always start with my why. I'm doing this to help him, but also to help myself. More than often we don't have patience with people because they can't give us or act the way we want them to. But that's just life. So to me, I treat my father like I treat anybody. I just have patience with him, understanding with him, and try to meet him where he's at and make the most out of the conversation for the both of us. But when it gets hard, like I said, I try to take some time to myself. I also have been in therapy for the past couple of years. I'm a firm believer in finding someone to talk to. That way you can help balance your mental. I do a lot of meditation. I have a meditation app where it tells you to take like this mindful minute. So I try to take a minute where you just breathe in and then you find the natural rhythm of your heartbeat. And then once you found the rhythm of your heartbeat and let it go back to its normal beat and just focus, you've taken a mindful minute. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm good. I'm here. All right, we're okay. So that's that.
No, that's awesome. And I think it's great that you've been able to find that capability because, there are moments when things get heated and when things get challenging. And it's super important that caregivers just remind themselves of why they're doing this, like you said, and what the other person is going through and what you need in that moment to make sure that you're being the best version of yourself you can be. So thank you so much for sharing that.
No
Um,
problem.
what a lot of people who may be watching may not know about you is that you're a stand-up comedian, which I think is amazing. So how is your how has your experience being a caregiver changed, influenced your career?
It has actually given me the meat and potatoes of my stand-up set. I I started off doing comedy by writing my own material and doing I was going to a mic where we do improvised comedy, where you pull a topic out the hat and talk about it. And the producer of the mic, her name was Mona, and Mona knew what I was doing for my dad, and I would tell her stuff sidebar, and she was like, talk about that stuff on stage, Arlieta, please talk about it. So she booked me for my first show ever. And that was the first time that I ever talked about my experience with my father, because he has, with Alzheimer's, you're not typically sure where they are. And my father used to work a lot of different roles. He used to be a police officer, he used to be a musician, he used to be a teacher, a principal. So I never really know where he's going. So it consistently keeps me in like two-person scenes all day long. So I can see my dad, he be, what's on the agenda today? I'm like, at 10 o'clock, we'll have a board meeting. At 11 o'clock, we'll break for lunch. You know, then if he sees my iPhone, he'll see my iPhone 7 Plus and think it's his gun, and he'll take it and put it in his holster. So because I have short hair, my daddy think I'm a boy sometimes. So I attach my phone from him. And he'll be, young man, you gonna mess around and get yourself killed, you know. So for me, it has given me characters and a way to heal. So I use stand-up comedy as a platform for therapy. So I tell some of the stories that hurt me the most about my father, and they are the funniest. They're the most relatable, and it'd be surprised how many people will talk to me at the end of my set. And mostly every time I do stand-up comedy about my father, at least one person will come up to me after the show like, oh, my grandma had Alzheimer's, or my such and such had dementia. I used to laugh at them too, and that just made me feel good. So for me, it just helped me learn that my story is bigger than just me, and that by me taking this journey, that I could help somebody else.
That's amazing. I'm just so blown away by the fact that you've been able to take what's been a really difficult experience and turning into something that's so positive and uplifting for you and for other people as well. So huge kudos to that.
Thank you.
I guess my next question is that you and your father seem to have a really close-knit relationship, and you kind of play off each other even though he has Alzheimer's. So how has the diagnosis and the caregiving experience kind of changed your relationship with your father?
So my father was my he was my non-custodial parent. So when I started, but he still would come get me on the weekends. If I wanted some Jordans, he was gonna buy them. If I wanted to ride, he was gonna come get me. But one thing that I did before I actually started taking caregiving for him, it was like the beginning stages of Alzheimer's. I actually came over here to talk to him. And just forgive him for things that I didn't even know that I could have been possibly holding against him, because I didn't want any of that to come out while I was caregiving for him. So I started with forgiving first, like, Daddy, I forgive you for anything. And then for him to have had Alzheimer's, he was so relieved. He was like, okay, thank you. And for me, it was just kind of a like, oh, because you never know what parents are holding on to. You know what I mean? He's a grown man. He's black. He's a black man. I'm not sure. Some things you're taught to hold inside that people don't know. So for me, I was like, oh, so I do this all the time. So I would forgive my daddy every day. Daddy, I forgive you. Oh, and watch him go through the process. And as far as me, it has helped me go through acceptance. So I've gone from being Arlieta, baby girl, to my brother, which is Melty, or young man, son. Sometimes he has called me person. So I went from Arlieta to person. Um, and for me, I can spiritually connect with my father. So that's what I hold on to. Is I don't care who he think I am. It may be that one moment of the day where he look at me and be like, thank you, sweetheart. Why I know he knows it's me. My father used to be really religious, so I do like devotions with him. So we still do like scriptures and stuff. That's because he's still in touch with it, and he'll go off on like rants, and I'll just kind of jot down some of the things he says and try to repeat them back to him. But for the most part, I have held on to his spirit because he's still here. I can see the decline from 2 years ago to now. You know what I mean? I quit my job 2 years ago to be here because I could tell little things were leaving. So it can be challenging to watch someone disappear, but I'm just trying to look at it the opposite way, as just trying to hold on to everything that's left. So as something fades away, I'm like discovering what's still there. So no, he may not be able to always construct complete sentences, but if he does get up and make it to the bathroom, then that's the point, you know. Or if he can feed himself, I'm counting stuff like that. So it, to me, Alzheimer's helps you count the small wins.
No, I think that's so amazing because, and I think that's such a positive outlook to have in the situation, you know, holding on to the small moments, counting the little victories, and I guess really thinking about like what's important in the journey. And I just have the utmost respect for you for being able to still have this positive outlook despite what the experience has been like emotionally for you. Um, I guess my next question is that you're super active on social media, both about stand-up comedy and your journey with your father. So what role has social media played in your caregiving experience so far?
Um, a huge experience. So, as I started taking care of my father, I would put like videos of me and my dad on social media, in my Instagram story, on Snapchat, Facebook, and the responses I would get back from people would be laughing. They would be, "Oh my God, I love what you're doing for your dad. Keep taking care of your dad. That's amazing." um I would just get like an overwhelmingly amount of feedback, support, love, laughter. So it helped me to sit down and start the documentary about me and my father, which is now a docu series called Finding Your Laughter. So it gave me the confidence, like, oh, okay, so my journey is interesting and people care, and this people actually want to take care of their parents and do it a different way. So it started me to actually sit down with my director, Brittany Onslaught, to actually set up how we were going to start filming Finding Your Laughter in the docu-series. And we started last year filming the project. So right now we are in the editing process, but we are looking at a total of maybe 6, 7 episodes. So it has brought me from actually just taking care of my dad to a 30-second video in my story to now we're working on a full-fledged documentary series to actually distribute, and with hopes of me using it as educational resources, because now I actually teach dementia workshops. So it has just kind of led me down a journey that I never saw coming.
That's amazing. Like, to be able to balance being a caregiver full time, stand up comedy, a docu series, like I'm just so shocked. How do you juggle all that? There's only 24 hours in the day.
um Time management is key. And so which was something that I struggled with at first, but I have figured out a way to make myself a schedule. So that I try to outline my week with the things that I want to do, my plans, my self-care, and then I kind of let the week flow and then do it as it falls into my schedule. So a lot of things have changed since we've been quarantined. So it's not like I could really do a lot of the things I was doing, because I was doing, whew, I mean, I act, I sing, I improvise. I was, you name it, I was busy Sunday through Saturday. I did not even take days off. So this my father. So I'm not even at my actual apartment. So I've been here with him, and a lot of things have been available to me online. So it has been a blessing to be able to kind of still do stand-up comedy via Zoom, or take a class on Zoom, or that can help me like with acting, and I honestly focus on filming and focus on editing and focus on watching it, what's important. So during this pandemic, we submitted ourselves to the Chicago filmmakers first annual their Spirit of Chicago first annual virtual screening, and we submitted our trailer and it won. So it was actually in the screening last week, and it's still in there if you wanted to watch it. But to me, the entire process has helped me to slow down and focus and shift in my life. So that's one thing I would say about being a caregiver. We get thrown into these situations, and a lot of people tell you, it's going to be overwhelming. A lot of people told me I shouldn't even do it. My family didn't want me to be perseverance. That has kind of kept me grounded in kind of just following the journey and the blessings that I have been receiving from I don't want to say people because I don't say like I follow people, but I do follow the energy. Like, okay, this seems to be inspired. This seems to be working. And right now, I've just been kind of slowing down and kind of focusing. So I'm going to actually probably end up moving in with him to take care of him because I don't know where we are as a country as far as this pandemic. So that's where I'm at with it. But it has brought me and my father a lot closer. I know that's crazy to have watched him have Alzheimer's and be closer to him than I've ever been in my entire life.
Wow. Well, first of all, congratulations on winning the Chicago film. That's amazing, especially on top of everything you're juggling. So just huge congratulations first off. Second,
Thank you.
we touched on the pandemic a little in our previous conversation, but how has the pandemic, if you want to go into it a little further, how's the pandemic affected your caregiving experience and your film and comedic career?
So it has been an interesting process, especially because I'm with them now 24 hours a day. So that means I'm here for the late nights, the sundown, the wake up in the middle of the night, following, trying to show them where the bathroom is. Uh, so it has, to me, it has kind of helped me to see his disease as a whole more so than I ever did before, and I can also see the decline since I've been here, because I have to pay attention now. But what it has helped me to do is draw my own boundaries for myself. Because before I would just be around my father maybe like 5 hours a day or 7 hours a day and go home. So I would put a lot of pressure on myself, like, okay, when you get there, you gotta get this done, you gotta get this done, you gotta get this done. Now I'm more like, we're gonna go with Milton's flow. You don't have to get up at 8 o'clock if you want to. You're getting up at 9:30. We're getting up at 9:30. So it has kind of allowed me to just completely kind of relax a little bit, go on his flow of things, and then kind of take it that way. So it takes the pressure off. Now I am filming, or I've set myself up to film like certain hours of the day, but I now can do it on the spot. Like, so now I can catch the times that if Brittany was here, because sometimes when I looked at a lot of footage before I moved in, I love my father, so I make him look good a lot of the time. So if you see him on Instagram, that's a lot of people like, oh my gosh, he's good, because you don't think he has Alzheimer's, you think I do. So now that I'm in the house, I actually have footage that shows that he has Alzheimer's, not me, which has been good. So you can actually see the disease. So to me, it's been kind of beautiful, gift and a curse, and helped me to kind of just cherish everything I have during the pandemic. I was never called essential before this, so it's a lot. So now I feel good about what I'm doing. I feel important, I do feel essential. I've actually lost some family members that were in nursing homes due to COVID. So it's made me feel like, okay, you're doing the right thing. Your father's not in a nursing home. He's at home. He's with you. You're doing right. You still holding on to him. So for me, it's giving me validation that I didn't necessarily have, and it's giving me my father a little longer. It's a lot of people dying right now, especially if he's a baby boomer. I can't trust nobody coming in and out the house, so I really do feel like I am like a superhero. I know that sounds lame, but I feel like I'm saving my daddy life.
No, you really are. I'm just still so blown away by everything that you're doing every day and how you still manage to have this really positive and uplifting energy about you. Even me just interviewing right now, I just feel so like motivated just from talking to you and feeding off your energy. And I just think that's so amazing. Um, I guess my next question.
Thank you.
my next question to you is support, because you're juggling so much as being a caregiver, your career, just everything going on in your life right now. So what does support look like for you, whether that be caregiving, whether that be emotionally? What do you do on days or times when you're feeling a little overwhelmed?
I do a lot of journaling, and I also write. Like lately I've been working on writing like scripts. So that has been a lot of really relieving to kind of leave what's going on right now to create a different world. You know what I mean? So that has been amazing to take a break and do art. I'm also here with my bonus mom. She's my stepmom, but I call her my bonus mom. And she's an artist. So we both paint. So we, you know what I'm saying? We may not do it together, but art therapy has helped me a lot to just take a break from the outside world too. And my family, I'm able to talk to my bonus mom, my mother. So my mother is a huge help, and to just kind of vent, let anything out. My brother, he also is a help. My sister and my cousin and my friend. I have a couple close friends, but being able to kind of vent to them when it gets really really hard, and having their support, they understand, and they know, and being able to do stand-up comedy honestly has been a huge I hate to cry, but it has been a huge um support system for getting out what is really happening, because it's heartbreaking, to be honest with you. It really really is. So to share stories and for people to laugh and support you and tell you to keep going has been honestly one of the biggest things that have helped me to keep pushing. And like I said, my family, because I didn't realize how hard it is for them until I actually witnessed it. Like, my dad has three living brothers, and they're close in age. So it's already, the Alzheimer's is not something that runs in my father's family. He's the only one that has it. So it's a huge scare to his side, because we don't know what's happening. So it's hard on his brothers. It's hard on everybody. And a lot of people, and for his family, like, I don't want to see him like that. I miss my uncle being able, because like I said, he's a principal. So this is somebody that knows everything, that's in charge. So we watching him not be that, So for me, I have had joy supporting him, because I could tell he still wants that type of leadership, that role, that respect. So I just try to support him as much as I know that it's hurting him too, So for me, being being that support for him, and then actually working on the documentary has really helped me, because I can go back and look at the times that were and how he was 2 years ago, 3 years ago to now, and I actually feel like, okay, I was there. It's okay. He did it. You still here now. You still holding on to him. So the more I can be like a living example of faith and perseverance for him, then for me, that's the support that I need. I like I said, I've been in therapy, but I have realized, with therapy, it's hard. You have to find a really, really good therapist. Sometimes I'm in therapy, I'm like, I'm helping her more than she helping me. so for me, the instant laughter, gratification, and even be able to watch the news and look at our president and like, he sound like my daddy. He probably got Alzheimer's,
Oh my
so
God.
yeah. So I really have to give my heart to comedy. It has really given me a different perspective and a different way to look at stuff. And I've been like that my entire life. Real silly, real charismatic, real think everything funny. Shouldn't sit next to me at a funeral, but so stepping into this was something new. And then me and my father have always had a real silly relationship. That was his way of communicating with me, like, okay, I know when Arlieta come around, and he'll have his stories lined up that he know I'm gonna laugh at, and he'll tell me because he's so serious with everybody else, So I know that when I'm around, he's always gonna calm down a little bit. So even now, I could walk past, he could think I'm a boy, but if I be like, daddy, 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 he'd be, it just smell, So um, being able to give love kind of helps me.
For sure. And I think I know I keep saying this, but I'm just so blown away by how you're able to just still have this energy about you despite everything you're juggling right now. And I think it's awesome that you have this family and friend support. But as I said, it sounds like your dad is a real role model and influential character in your family with his positions in the past, with just his nature. And
Mhm.
to be able to see him go through this has been really hard for your family. So to sort of cope or get through the pain or deal with the feelings that you might be experiencing when things are getting a little hard?
The jokes. Anything that typically gets too hard for all of us when it comes to my dad, we're gonna just find a way to laugh about it. Like for my brother, it could be, my brother is a junior, so it shouldn't be this funny to me, but it's funny to me because watching them go back and forth with each other. For my dad, it's like looking in a time capsule. Like, is this me? And for my brother, he's like, ah. So the last time my brother took my dad to get his haircut, my dad actually like ran out the barbershop from him. So he had to chase my dad down the street. And my brother thinks that if he does this, Dad, it's me, look, me, no, got me. Like, no, that does not work when someone that has Alzheimer's, but it did click somewhere. So my father started responding to him like, what type of father or what type of son would leave his dad like this? And my dick still running down the street. So my brother called me just pissed. I am done. Dad is a flight risk. I'm not taking him out. I was like, okay, writing it down. Everything you say. Then my next comedy show, I tell the audience the way I treat my dad, and I'm like, but my brother, Dad's a flight risk, and my brother sitting on the front row laughing. So, we tip us kind of knowing that if we could take our stories and just kind of talk about them and laugh about them with each other, and then more so as we're talking about them, understanding that whose anxiety is really the highest at the moment, my father. Whose blood pressure is the highest at the moment? My father. Who's really terrified? My father. So it helps us to really kind of to make it not about us. It's just really not, and not to make this, anything about race, because Alzheimer's does not see race, but when I look at him, this is a Black man trapped in his body and has no awareness of what's going on and just scared, so it's already scary to be Black sometimes and walk down the street. So I can just imagine what's going through his mind. So it helps us to keep ourselves in check. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much what we do a lot. We talk about it, we laugh about it, and it get bad. it gets bad when you have to go every time you go in the bathroom. You got to try to direct somebody so they don't pick a different hole. I never knew the sink looked like a urinal. I was like, oh, it does. So it helps you stay in the moment and have a sense of humor.
For sure. And I think the fact that you're so open about this and you're so, I guess, real about the conversation you have, even in your comedy, I think that's just super admirable. But have you ever come across anyone who maybe has some misconceptions about caregiving, or what your experience has been like, or what your father's experience has been like? And I guess that leads into my next question. What do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about caregiving, and how would you want to address
them? One of the biggest misconceptions to me is that you cannot have any like personal feelings against the person that you're caregiving for. You have to basically check your feelings at the door, no matter what you're doing. Another thing about people that you're caregiving for, to me, persons with Alzheimer's specifically, they can be violent. They can be they can take that out on you. I've had to restrain my father from physically fighting me. It's not always easy. It's not always fun and games, but you have to have patience. So like I teach a workshop called If Alzheimer's Could Laugh to a CNA groups. And basically what I tell them is, you're going to walk into these rooms, you are the only advocate for the person that you're caregiving for. And you have to look at it like that. You have to be like, when I get here, I may be the only person that's going to be nice to them, that's going to take care of them right, and that's going to track this. So it's very, very important for you to honestly write out your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you a caregiver? And I start there. Once you write that down, because I say keep a caregiver journal. Once you write that down, you can always go back to it when you get pissed off. Why am I here? Okay, I'm here because I wanted to love people. Okay, because I have to remember. You know, you need to know why you're there. And then you also have to write down what it is that you're doing, your daily goals with this person, and understanding that those goals are not always going to be met, but celebrating small wins, the things that you were able to do. Were you able to make sure that they got their whole meal eaten? Because they have Alzheimer's, they forget they're eating. So you have to make sure that you continuously warming up their food and watching them. So my biggest thing to tell a lot of caregivers is you're not going to get everything done in a day. It took for me to actually live with my father to understand, oh, people probably aren't putting my dad in the shower every day if I was to put him in a home, because I can see that there's no way you're going to get him in the shower every day at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's just not going to happen. He has his own mindset of what he wants to do. So relinquishing your agenda is one of the main things that we learned in the Dementia Raw Silver Dawn training program. And that is the biggest thing I would say that caregivers need to understand, that you have to take your shoes off, put theirs on, and then understand that they have a dis-ease that they do not want to have. And then have patience. And if you don't have patience and compassion, you shouldn't be a caregiver. It's a lot of other things out there that we could do, but you just shouldn't be a caregiver.
I guess my next question to you would be, what's your why, if you feel comfortable sharing it, and what do you tell yourself when things get really challenging?
My why for my father was to ensure that he had the best quality of life as he's transforming. And for me, then that meant that I am going to transform with him. So I'm not just quitting my job to, just take care of my dad and this is just what we're going to do. No, we're going to transform this journey and make this art. So for me, I'm trying to make anything that I'm doing art, and my entire journey is led by finding my laughter. That's how we came up with the title for the film. That's because that's who I am. And anything that I'm doing, I'm finding a way to laugh. And I'm naturally trying to find that. So that's my why. That's what I go to. That's what makes me feel right. So laughing. So that's where I come back and revisit. If I get extremely stressed out, I look at old videos of me and my father from 2 years ago when he was able to have full-fledged conversations with me that he may not be able to have right now. So looking at that, some people are like, oh, that's just too hurtful. But for me, it's like, oh, the joy, the gratitude, and then having faith. If you don't, faith is sometimes having that eerie feeling where you don't know what you're doing is right. You don't feel safe. It's like you got your feet up off the ground and you don't know if it's any like ground right there. So once you take that leap, you can't really just put your feet back down and walk again. So it's a part of the journey. So I just try to understand that, okay, this is a part of having faith. If you breathe, you look around, he's still here, you doing everything you can, everything around you, using the grace, and in a moment, then you making magic. So that's how I keep myself using grace, and knowing that when I'm using grace and in a moment, that means I'm using everything that I have, all the tools around me to make magic, which is the most beautiful thing that I can make in this moment, and give the most positive energy that I can. Because that positive energy leaves yourself open to receive it. You know, negative energy, you kind of just sending out a block. So I try to just remain as positive as possible. And if I can't do it, I take my deep breaths, go back to why I'm doing this, to find my laughter. I got a way to laugh. I'm gonna open up this book, find something here to laugh about, get back to him, because he hurting more than I am.
For sure. And I think it's super important that caregivers remind themselves that, the person they're looking after it's not saying that caregiving isn't incredibly challenging, but the person you're looking after is going through a much more challenging experience. And it's really easy to forget that when things get really challenging. So thank you for reminding us of that. And I think my last question to you would be, what's the biggest piece of advice you would give to someone who's recently become a caregiver?
This is a good job. This is a job for people that care. So when you come into this job as a caregiver, understand that you are an essential superhero. You are saving this person's life more than anyone else around them. And as you're saving this person's life, it is your duty to find a way to laugh and to find a way to make them laugh. So find out what their habits are and what brings them joy. If you can find a way to bring them joy each shift, whether it's play a song they like, talk about a certain topic they like, turn on a TV show they like, find their favorite shirt, favorite book. But if you can go yourself to find something, find out who they are so you can help them remember and bring them joy, you will make your life a lot easier as a caregiver.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us today, Arlieta. Director, producer, stand-up comedian, caregiver. I can't even list all of the different jobs that you're doing right now. Just overall boss lady. So if people want to watch your videos or the things that you're producing, or learn more about your stand-up comedy shows, or see you on social media, where are places they can find you?
They can find me. My name on social media is Arlieta Hall, ARLIETA HALL. For Instagram, that's ARLIETA_HALL_. Facebook, Arlieta Hall. My website is www.arlietahall.com. And my film and everything is called Finding Your Laughter. Now, the URL for it on Facebook is Project Map, because that's what we were originally calling it first, but it is Project Map MAAP, which is when it comes up, it'll be Finding Your Laughter. But if you can't find that, go straight to my website. You'll be able to, there's links on there for everything that I do. I'm so excited. So please follow me, stay tuned. I have a lot of things coming up, and you do not want to miss Finding Your Laughter, the docuseries. Once it comes out, it's going to change the world.
Yes, ma'am. So Arlieta Hall on Facebook and Instagram, and then Finding Your Laughter, which you find under Project Joy on Facebook, as well as her website. All that information will be in our bio and on our Instagram page as well. And thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with us today, Arlieta.
No problem. Thank you so much, Ramon. This was amazing. And thank you all for doing what you're doing, giving caregivers a platform to share their experience, to encourage others. Like I said, we are the essential superheroes right now. So it is very important to be reminded of that confirmation, that clarity. We need that. So thank you all for giving us this platform, because we need it. I love you all. For any caregiver out there, please keep your support and your love and your hugs open. And remember, you are a superhero, bigger than Superman. They just don't have no cape for us. Can we get a cape?
Perfect. I honestly could not have ended it better myself. Thank you again, Arlieta, and be sure to tune in next week for our next Caregiver Spotlight.
Thank you.